He dominated the game while he was out there, and just changed everything with his defense, his activity. Had 3 steals, but I think he had several more deflections that may have led to steals. He is just an electric athlete. It's hard to stand out on an NBA floor athletically because all those guys, it's the world's greatest athletes, and he jumps off the page when you see him out there, and he's obviously got great defensive instincts to go along with that athleticism. So couldn't be happier for Gary. You think about how hard he's worked to get to this point, just clawing his way to a roster spot. It's taken him about 5 years of bouncing around the league, and we're all just thrilled for him. He deserves this.
Steve, how much of what Gary over here, how much of what Gary brings is contagious and infectious to the other players? You think you guys are number 1 in defense now overall after tonight, but how much is just his energy and the way he plays have an impact on everybody else?
Yeah, you could feel it. Just a few possessions that he kind of blew up on his own, and the whole bench felt it, and they felt the game changing. And we were just trying to grind our way through that game for about 2.5 quarters. It was just a struggle offensively. And we needed a spark, and Gary gave us that spark, and then everything kind of opened up after that. But his teammates love him as they should. And he brings so much energy, and he brings everybody else's energy up too.
Is he pushing it to the point where you're going to have to pretty much use him on a nightly basis, or is it still?
Yes. Yeah.
Not matchup dependent anymore.
No, he needs to play more for sure.
Steve, you had back here. You had Gary last year. You brought him back to camp. I'm wondering your, love affair with him when you started liking him and falling for him. Was it last year when you saw him? Did you know immediately, or has it grown over time?
I think it's grown over time. I think he didn't have much of an opportunity last year. This year, the opportunity is there. We've got kind of a new group. We are reinvigorated in a lot of ways, and he's part of that. But, we felt like we could maintain our defensive effort from a year ago. And I actually think we're better now because of Gary, because of Andre Iguodala. I just feel like, this is a great spot for Gary, and that's probably the lesson, for a lot of young players is you just have to keep fighting until the opportunity comes along. And this is his opportunity for sure. So he's in the right place, and we're lucky to have him.
When you subbed him out, when you subbed him out, was that designed to get him the moment, the ovation, or was it just?
It was. There was. Basically he was tired too. He had played so hard, but we wanted to acknowledge his effort and give the crowd a chance to applaud. And I looked down, I saw Draymond at the free throw line giving him a standing ovation. So what a great night for Gary.
Steve, I know you've been thrilled with your depth for several games, but did you know that it would be on both ends of the court from so many guys doing little things, and so many bench players were going to give you this much on both ends?
Yeah, I think, when the season began with camp, we really liked the roster, but you never know how things are going to play out. Otto hasn't been healthy the last few years, and, we needed to see everybody, and we didn't know if Gary was going to be able to make this kind of contribution, and how many games was Andre going to be able to play? So there were a lot of questions, but we really liked the roster, and there's a good reason for that. These guys can play.
Steve, going back to those days when you guys between letting Gary go and re-signing him, what were those days like? I know you guys wanted him back, but what was it like for you just to kind of have to wait it out?
Just fingers crossed. You just never know in this league, but the things have just fallen into place for him and for us. And, he's more than earned his place on this team. And as I said, he's got to be out there